Yes, Samson is a biblical figure mentioned in the book of Judges, chapters 13 to 16, in the Hebrew Bible, your Old Testament. He is known as one of the judges of Israel and is famous for his immense strength, which he derived from his uncut hair, a symbol of his Nazirite vow to God. His story includes feats of strength, like slaying a lion with his bare hands, defeating 1,000 Philistines with the jawbone of a donkey, and collapsing a Philistine temple by pushing apart its pillars. Historical reality. The Bible presents Samson as a historical figure, but there is no archaeological evidence or external historical records to confirm his existence. Like many ancient figures, his story is rich with symbolic and moral themes, which leads some scholars to view him as a literary or legendary figure rather than a historical one. Whether Samson was a real individual or a symbolic character, his story continues to be a significant part of biblical literature and cultural storytelling. The story of Samson, found in Judges 13 to 16, is one of the most dramatic narratives in the Bible. Here's the full storyline. 1. Birth and Nazirite vow. Judges 13. The Israelites were under Philistine oppression for 40 years. An angel appeared to Manoah's wife, a barren woman, and announced that she would give birth to a son. This child, Samson, was to be a Nazirite from birth, meaning he was dedicated to God and bound by specific vows. He could not drink wine or strong drink. He could not touch anything unclean. He could not cut his hair. The angel foretold that Samson would begin to deliver Israel from the Philistines. True to the angel's words, Samson was born, and God's Spirit began to stir in him. Early exploits and the lion, Judges 14. As a young man, Samson fell in love with a Philistine woman from Timnah against his parents' wishes. On his way to see her, a lion attacked him, but he tore it apart with his bare hands, empowered by the Spirit of God. Later, he found honey in the lion's carcass and shared it with his parents, not revealing its origin. At his wedding feast, Samson proposed a riddle based, and Samson, enraged, killed 30 Philistines in Ashkelon to pay the wager. Revenge on the Philistines, Judges 15. When Samson's wife was given to another man, he sought revenge. He captured 300 foxes, tied their tails together in pairs with torches, and set them loose in Philistine fields, burning their crops. The Philistines retaliated by killing his wife and her father. Furious, Samson slaughtered many Philistines. Later, he took refuge in a cave. When the Philistines came to capture him, the men of Judah handed him over. However, the Spirit of God came upon Samson, and he broke free from his bonds. Using the jawbone of a donkey, he killed 1,000 Philistines. Samson and Delilah, Judges 16. Samson fell in love with Delilah, a woman from the valley of Sorek. The Philistine leaders bribed her to discover the secret of his strength. After several failed attempts to extract the truth, she nagged him until he confessed that his strength came from his uncut hair, a sign of his Nazirite vow. While he slept, Delilah had his hair shaved off. The Philistines seized him, gouged out his eyes, and took him to Gaza, where they bound him with bronze chains and forced him to grind grain in prison. Samson's final act of strength, Judges 16:23-31. The Philistines held a great celebration in their temple to honor their god, Dagon, for delivering Samson into their hands. They brought Samson out to entertain them. By this time, his hair had begun to grow back. Samson prayed to God to restore his strength one last time. Leaning on the temple's central pillars, he pushed with all his might, causing the structure to collapse, killing himself and thousands of Philistines. In his death, he achieved a greater victory over the Philistines than he had during his life.